This episode is brought to you by 3andMe. 3andMe is a genetic ancestry service for people with the most thoroughbred and pure bloodlines. Incestuous family trees can be hard to track. Branches grow into roots, roots grow into roots. Actually, it's just a big clump of roots. 3andMe takes the hard work out of untangling your inbred bloodline so that you know who is your sister and or cousin and or mother as soon as possible. Just go to 3andme.com and use code HMT at checkout to get 10% off your first purchase. That's 3andMe, now endorsed by the British royal family. Hello and welcome to Horror Movie Talk, an opinionated and accidentally funny horror movie review show. Your panel of expert hosts each week are Dr. Bryce Hansen, who holds a PhD in spookology, and, of course, Professor David Day, the foremost expert in scare no-nos. New theatrical releases always get priority unless we don't want to watch them, and we also review older horror movies, both good and horrible. I'm David Day.
I'm Bryce Hansen. That's actually not true. Reverse those. Scratch it, reverse it.
Yes. Before we get started, just want to give a plug for our website, horrormovietalk.com. You'll find...
How did you make me talk? I'm sorry.
Bryce Hansen.
Stop. That hurts.
Our website, you'll find links to our social media and be able to connect with us, which many people do, and we really appreciate it. We post new episodes every Wednesday, so please consider subscribing. And if you have an Apple product, leave us a rating on Apple Podcast, because that really helps out. We've got a great show today. We're going to be talking about Wrong Turn.
Holy moly. Sometimes, Patreon is the gift that keeps on giving, and sometimes they just decide to stab you in the eye. They just decide to stab you in the eye.
This wasn't that bad.
No, it was not that bad.
It's not good either. This was one of our Patreon selections for some of our Patreon tiers. You get to vote on a movie for us to review as a group, and this is one of those. So we'll start out by giving a brief review and a score for the movie. We score on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being a miserable dredge where it makes you angry, 5 being a perfectly average film that hits all the expected marks, and 10 being so good it transcends genre boundaries. After we give our score, we'll get into spoilers and take a deeper dive into what we liked and hated about the film. And then later, a couple bits, we'll be doing Taglines, perennial favorite, and our friend from across the sea, Mr. Ben Warrington, will give us horror movie news.
You guys need to stick around for horror movie news. It's a good one this go-round. Man, let me tell you.
Heightening tension, by the way.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so let's get into the episode. So, again, like I said, the patrons voted for us to watch Wrong Turn from 2003, and it harkened back to simpler times.
Yeah.
Here's the trailer.
Are you all right? I'm so sorry. Yeah.
I just found this tied to a tree back there. Somebody did this.
We're lost. We're looking for a phone.
Sweetheart. Baby, seriously, this isn't funny.
And what a
Noises!
and what a trailer.
And what a trailer it was. There's a lot of text in that trailer. I should have...
Don't take the wrong turn. Okay.
Wrong Turn is available for rent at all the digital places. The one place where it was streaming for quote-unquote free was Cinemax. I mean, you had to sign up for Cinemax or whatever, but they probably have a free trial. The synopsis for this film is simple. A group of random people in their early 20s are attacked by inbred homicidal mountain men.
Yeah, it's simple. You know, it's textbook stuff.
Mm-hmm. Some of them have paint-by-numbers backstories and archetypes. Really, their purpose and motivation is to be fodder for a slasher. Everyone that you think will die, dies, and everyone you think that will survive, survives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wrong Turn came out in 2003, and I genuinely forgot how long ago that was.
Right? 17 years?
It's got Nokia phones, it's got bare midriffs on women, and puka shells on men.
That's all true.
It was a simpler time. And this is a simple movie to match it. This is a good old-fashioned, dumb slasher. Mm-hmm. The only unique twist on the generic formula is that the antagonists are a family of inbred homicidal hicks. Oh, wait, that's not unique.
Wait,
that's a ripoff of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Whatever. Who cares? The people that want to watch slashers just want to see people getting chased and cut up. In that respect, this movie excels because that's basically all that happens. People get chased and cut up. Rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
This is right down the center for me. I give it a score of 5 out of 10.
I went through a range of emotions upon learning that we were going to be reviewing this. Have
you seen it before?
At first it was confusion. I was like, what's Wrong Turn? And I mistook it in my head for a very good movie, I think from 2013, called Dead End, which is a fabulous movie. Along the same lines as this one, people on a trip, and then the trip goes awry.
Isn't there like a John Carpenter one that's really famous? It's not Last House on the Left. Maybe it is. I can't remember. But I feel like I've heard that there is a plot where a woman or some women get stranded and badness ensues, but whatever. I mean, it's basically the plot of most horror movies.
And by the way, my apologies. Dead End is also a 2003 movie. It's not a 2013 movie.
Oh.
I thought this movie was Dead End because the year matches and the premise is very similar. So first confusion and then anger because I was like, oh no, this is just gonna be blech. And then once I started watching it, I was excited by who was in it. It had a bunch of all of the most popular teens and teen heartthrob people from the time. Eliza Dushku, the guy from 6 Feet Under, some bitch who I just really wanted to die very quickly. They were all there. It proved to be pretty average.
Mm-hmm. So what's your score for it?
Oh yeah, I'm going to have to say, I mean, this is just not my lane at all. This is the antithesis of what I enjoy for the most part. But it does feel very nostalgic. So I can't hate it that much. I'd give it a low 4.
Really?
Yeah, pretty low on that 4. It's not like it doesn't commit any mortal sins really, other than just not being very good, you know?
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I said 5.
5. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's pretty simple, synopsis and review there. Before we get into spoilers and talk more in detail, we got some mid-roll, just like the best roll that there is.
The bare mid-roll, like the bare midriff. Everybody loves the bare midriff.
So we've already mentioned...
Which there is a lot of, isn't in this movie? Lots of bare midriff.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about women's fashion over the ages with this movie. Yeah. We mentioned our patrons, which we love, and who we're doing this episode for. Head over to our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/horrormovietalk, and check out the different tiers. There's something for everyone. Any level of support, even if it's not within a tier, we appreciate, and it helps subsidize some of the expense that it takes. These movies don't pay for themselves.
Hell no.
We're not pirates.
No.
We pay the movie industry.
Yeah, we do.
Also, so yeah, please check that out. Also, Shudder, if you have heard of it, you know what it is. It's the horror streaming service. You get a bunch of curated horror movies and horror TV shows and docs and podcasts available. If you're interested and have been waiting to take the dive, use code HMT at checkout to get a 30-day free trial and avoid being a schmuck and getting the normal 7-day free trial like all the rabble get.
You dumb idiots. You can also support the podcast by buying or renting anything on Amazon as long as you click through the green button at the head of our website. That's horrormovietalk.com. And, if you bookmark that, the page that you land on after clicking that button, then anytime you head to that bookmark and buy something on Amazon, you'll be supporting the show. And it's not an insubstantial amount. It helps us out big time.
Also, check out our resident artist, Dustin Goebel, a professional artist who fucks hard with that Teflon dick, and he is amazing. He also takes commissions for artwork from HMT fans. Contact him at dgoebel00 on Instagram. That's DGOEBEL00 on Instagram. He's also got a website, dustingoebel.com.
Probably. Yeah.
We'll have a link on the post as well. So contact him and make your artistic dreams come true. Tell him HMT sent you. I mean, he fucks hard, but he won't fuck you hard. He is married, so there's only one special lady that gets that treatment from D. Goebel.
I don't know, man. Who knows? For money is a funny thing. So Dustin is not a cheap man when it comes to actually fucking. I'm sure he's very reasonable in his art, but fucking with that Teflon dick though, that's some spendy stuff.
That Teflon dick though. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get into spoilers. Spoilers. Okay. Yeah. This might be a short episode. There's not really a lot to talk about with Wrong Turn, but I always say that, but then we talk at length because sometimes these simple movies are more confusing and require more discussion.
This is so straightforward. It's unbelievable. It's part of why I don't hate it.
Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't try to get crazy with anything. It doesn't confuse you or anything like that. It's just, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. And that's this.
It almost like, was there kind of a resurgence in slashers there was a lull with slashers, and then Scream came out and kind of revived the genre. Am I thinking of that correctly, or has slashers just been a through line since the very beginning?
Yeah, slashers, I mean, they really started taking off. I have a blog about this, how slashers killed the horror industry in the 90s and aughts. And that's my firm opinion is, slashers gained monumental claim and really brought it home in the box office in the 80s, and to the extent that every big slasher genre and even a lot of the small ones have 4 or 5 at least iterations, sequels. This one has like 3 or 4.
I think
sequels.
I saw 5.
Yeah,
and it's such an innocuous film.
I mean, whatever, what was it, Dream Master, Dream Wisher, or whatever it is. You got Wrong Turn, you got Jeepers Creepers, you got the Screams that went into 4, and then you got obviously the big 4 or 5. You got Child's Play, Nightmare, Camp Crystal Lake. I can't think of Friday the 13th, and Hellraiser. So all these movies that that didn't really need to be made. You don't need 12 Nightmare on Elm Streets or whatever it is.
Yeah, and
it just fucked out the horror industry because it was like, the way you do it is you make Sleepaway Camp 5. And it's like, yeah.
So there are better movies and shows about inbred hillbillies that want to kill you. And some are even mentioned in this movie. I don't think you can really beat Deliverance. Like, it's not a horror movie, but it is a horror movie.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a man, like, that is a horror movie. And it feels so much more real and so much more gritty.
Yeah.
And still stands the test of time. Super, super interesting. The other ones that come to mind are the X-Files episode Home, which is like the one standout episode that people like point to as like, that is when they went too far.
That's
like,
right. The one with the barn and the house that had the people, the inbred lady living under the bed. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like this family of inbred brothers, and they go out and they kill some people. I can't remember the motivations, but that whole episode is really disturbing and really good. And then, of course, already mentioned Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, that's like... Yeah. I don't think specifically they say they're inbred, but, I mean...
Oh, they're fucking... Yeah, and that's part of what makes Texas Chainsaw work so well, is so much of it is just like show, don't tell kind of thing.
Right.
It's like... Ooh.
Yeah.
And here's the room where we keep our bones.
The other real noticeable thing to me, like, it starts out pretty generic. Like, there's some climbers that climb up and get thrown off a cliff by unseen people, and you're like, okay, well, people are going to die in this movie, apparently. No surprise here. But the thing that distracted me was how cheesy the music was.
Yeah.
And it was just it like cliche horror movie music, to where it made me realize, like, oh wow, this is so cliche that it hasn't been cliche for a long time because it's been so fucked out. Like, it was literally like this sound was in it. No, I mean, even that's too modern. It was like boom, wing, boom, wing. Like that kind of orchestral stuff.
The pa pa terror.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. The intro scene in this movie made Carrie visibly upset. My wife was watching this movie with me, and she was like, "Are you fucking joking me? What are we doing here?" And she's like, "Why would your patrons do this to you?" And I was like, "Because they love to see us squirm." She's like,
yeah, I mean, it's real hard.
Do they like this stuff? I was like, no, they like listening to us be unhappy.
Yeah. It's hard to say because, we love our patrons, and I really don't want to offend anyone. But if this is your favorite horror movie, like, I'm sorry.
Look, but
I'm sorry.
on
It's
the
just
other end,
not good.
On the other end of that, it's a guilty play. It feels like guilty. It's got guilty
Yes.
pleasure written all
Yeah.
over it. Like I can't stop talking about Deep Blue Sea. It's a bad horror movie. Samuel L. Jackson gets bitten in half by a shark, and I love it. I'm like, yay! Every time.
Champa champa.
Yeah, Champa gets that Champa life.
Anyways, I looked up the composer for this cheesy ass music, and apparently he was the same composer as for Battlefield Earth,
That's your favorite movie.
which is
I've never seen it.
Honestly, I put it up there as one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Like in terms
With John
of like
Travolta?
major releases,
Yeah.
that is awful. It's just so bad. Go watch some clips of John Travolta in Battlefield Earth on YouTube and just tell yourself this was a serious movie. Like they really thought this was going to work out, and John Travolta really thought that these were good choices.
You know, that was riding on, I believe, on the coattails of the tremendous success of Starship Troopers.
Was it?
I think so. I think Starship Troopers was 97, and I think Battlefield Earth was maybe like 2000.
Yeah, Battlefield Earth was written by L. Ron Hubbard, which you might recognize from Scientology. I actually read a good chunk of Battlefield Earth, the book, and it wasn't awful, the premise, but I got it's a huge book. It's like over 1,000 pages, and I got about like 500 pages in, and then it's like got to the natural ending point of a book. It was like, and then they defeated the main antagonists and blew up their entire species
There's 400
across
pages
all the galaxy. And there's still like over 500 pages left. And I'm like, what?
Wait.
What could it possibly be? And I was like, it obviously wasn't good enough to hold me after that, so I didn't read it. But it is a good premise in terms of like this is hundreds of years after Earth has been invaded by an alien race, and like the human race is like well beyond anything like of civilization. So they're either enslaved or they're living in like just like a small pocket as like primitive people.
I was right on the years on those. 97 was Starship Troopers, and then 2000 was Battlefield Earth.
Okay. Anyways, it's a terrible movie. That was the first circumstance where I realized like how my straight face is a little too straight, because I came out of that movie with my friend Kevin, and I was like, well, that's pretty great. And like I can't remember how he said it, but he honestly thought that I liked it.
Like disdain.
And it is on. There's no one that could watch that movie and like it. It's awful. And it didn't come up until like weeks later. And he's like, "You like Battlefield Earth?" I was
Yeah,
like,
but you liked Battlefield Earth, though.
I was like, and it shook me to my core that he actually believed me that I would have liked that movie. Anyways, moving on. Lots of unseen slosh gore sounds. Was this PG-13?
I know it definitely does not make it into the PG-13 realm. Let me
I feel like
check.
it could have made PG-13 nowadays, but maybe not back then.
I don't know, man. There was a decapitation. There was a let's see here. No, yeah, R.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna make a movie like this and a slasher that's an R, like, I'm old fashioned. Like,
Go full ham.
Why didn't we see some of those boobies?
Yeah. Why didn't she pony up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Did she pony up in other movies? In Jay and Silent Bob or anything like that?
I don't know.
She wasn't in many movies. She was in The Hills Have Eyes, all the wrong turns. Wait. Oh, wait, no. I'm not on Eliza Dushku. I'm on. Okay, never mind. Continue.
Liza Dushku, I think her first movie was True Lies. She was the daughter in True Lies.
Yes, you're correct. That's her big break.
Anyways, it starts out in the credits, the opening credits. It shows a bunch of newspaper clippings about inbred mountain men and stuff, and it kind of ruins the movie. It's like, okay, so you're just telling us what it is, because up to that point it's unseen. Like, you don't know anything about why these people got killed, and it's like all of a sudden they're like holding your hand so hard. Look at these newspaper clippings about inbred people that are violent.
If we just show the fact that this is shot in West Virginia, that won't be enough.
So
we got to tell them what's up.
So yeah, it's as on the nose as that opening credit scene. The rest of the movie is on the nose.
Yes, that is very true.
So yeah, 2003 feels like forever ago. It's just so alarming to see like a Nokia brick phone. And it's like, oh wait, this isn't ironic. This is literally like the cutting edge technology back then. When did the iPod come out?
About 2004, I think.
Yeah, if you can imagine,
I'll double check.
Imagine a time before the iPod. And I think the iPod came out before iTunes, didn't it? Or did iTunes come out before
October
iPod?
23rd, 2001. So it had just released 2 years ago. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, 2003, that was the year I graduated from high school. I think you graduated a year or two earlier than that. It does, you know what? It actually feels a lot closer. Like every birthday, people are like, well, do you feel 35 or whatever it is? I'm like, I just kind of feel like I'm 18, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it kind of, blends together.
Yeah.
I have 3 children now, and it still feels like, oh yeah, I just graduated.
Yeah.
Like at the very least, like, oh yeah, I just was just measuring after college. Like, yeah, I graduated from college a little while ago.
Yeah.
Even my post-grad is still really far away, and I'm like, oh yeah, I just did that.
Okay, we got it.
I'm very smart.
Yeah.
So the Nokia brick phones, and also just the hotties in this film were very early 2000s. Like it's a very unappreciated segment of is a very unappreciated era for women's fashion.
I think now you're not wrong, but I think we're looking through this with puberty colored glasses, which is to say, like this as was the style at the time when I was going through puberty. And so yeah, I was definitely caught my mouth being like watering. Like looking at the hotties in this movie, and it was because of the way they dressed. Lots of bare midriff, low pants.
It was the fashion required the women to really have like tight bodies, and it's the same as today. I mean, today is like not that far off, but it's just a different thing. So
lots of hard bodies all over the place.
We got yoga pants. We've got like,
and that's what my premise is like. Yeah, these are puberty colored glasses because it was great back then, but now there's fucking yoga pants.
Yeah,
and they have pants that split girls' ass cheeks. It's incredible.
I was like, damn, nigga, what you doing out here with all this ass?
Yeah, like I got to play the whole thing because
I was like, damn, nigga, what you doing out here with all this ass? Double cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon.
Double cheeked up. So, yeah, but I think like the style is more. It's like a little more subtle. Like we got the yoga pants. That's what you get, and then like the top is probably a little more flowy or whatever. I guess there's still bare midriffs, but they exposed a lot of midriff back in the turn of the century. So like there's that. So here's the
Lots
thing.
of thirst.
Here's the unique thing. 'Cause I was thinking of this phrase. The women in this movie are very attractive, and they're wearing very skimpy clothes. So much so that I honestly believe that the fashion back then with the shirts that showed the bare midriff. It's not just a short shirt. It literally looked like there were squoze into a toddler's shirt because they're like popping out.
Are you
like
saying you're attracted to kids, Bryce?
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm
There was a lot of push-up bra stuff
I
going on.
I believe we have a recording here that says the opposite's true.
God damn, look at those hot children.
No, literally, like, the shirts, the top, like, the collar is, like, being strained open to where it literally looks like they're wearing, like, a toddler's T-shirt. Mm-hmm. Am I crazy?
No, I do know what you're saying. Yeah, the style of the time. Yeah, it was... and they were all hard bodies.
Yeah, one of the bright shining features of this film. One of my favorite parts of this movie, like the script, is not smart. Like it's not very good, but it's attempting to try to be like a poor man's Tarantino or Joss Whedon script of the turn of the century, and to where it's these young kids they're speaking like really sophisticated like adults that really like get the
yeah it's very corny dialogue that's contrived.
Here's one example of that. So this couple that was left behind, they're getting frisky, and this is what one of what the girl is singing.
Drop your pants.
What?
When do people always show up, Evan? What are we doing? Considered an experiment in probability theory.
Considered an experiment in probability theory. It's just like so, like that's like the screenwriter that thinks like, this is great. I'm pretty hot shit putting this in here.
He sends it to his mom, and she's like, "Wow, you know big words, big words."
It's just like trying to color that script with some interesting concepts. It's like, no, it's not that interesting.
Impressive. Very nice.
The other one was just dumb stuff. Like the guy. This is my favorite moment. Like walking along the street, and the guy is like, "Hey, what? Oh, I know this one. That's a dead squirrel." Because they come across like a dead animal. He's like, "Got it, dead squirrel."
I know what this one is.
And like it's on the tip of his tongue what that animal is called. Here's the clip.
Oh, hey ho! I call it squirrel.
Well, they said you were hungry, Conley.
I don't think it's a squirrel.
It's a mink. Really? How do you know?
Probably ran over it.
In medical school, they make you work on animal cadavers before you get to the real thing. It's a mink.
You can tell it's a mink because of the way it is.
I love this though.
Oh, hey ho! I call it.
Oh, hey ho!
Squirrel.
Squirrel.
Oh, hey ho! I call it. What's that? Squirrel. It's like, oh yeah, the most common woodland creature across the entire continent.
What do you call these?
What are those called again?
Mice. Wait. Whoa. What is that? It's what do they call them? Rabbits.
Oh, hey ho! What is that? It's a cat.
Oh, hey ho! I call it squirrel.
Oh, hey ho!
Is that a raincoat? Yes, it is.
It's a squirrel. No, it's not. It's a mink.
So, I mean, that's what we're working with here in terms of dialogue. Really, is once it gets to them being chased.
I got to tell you, I like the direction that this episode is heading. Your delight is always.
Oh, hey ho! I call it squirrel.
I'm fucking dead. Oh, hey ho!
Even the reading of that. It's so bad. Because on the page it says, oh, hey ho.
Oh, hey ho.
I got it. It's a squirrel. And so he has to say that line. And he's not like, the actor is probably like, fuck this. I'm not going to help this at all. I'm just going to read it off the page. Who cares?
That was the brother from 6 Feet Under, by the way.
Oh, hey ho, I call it squirrel.
Oh, hey ho.
It's just on the tip of his tongue. He's got to snap his fingers for that. Okay. So they go and
they find their way to their car. They crash. Mm-hmm. Did you even say that?
I didn't say it. Who cares about it?
Okay, so
it starts out with the protagonist. It's this medical student or doctor, I guess. He's on the way to an interview, and then he takes a wrong turn, and there's like some kind of wreck, and he's trying to get around it to get to this interview on time, even though he calls him on the phone and says like, hey, I'm running about 30 minutes late, and then he's
time to take the back roads of West Virginia to get who knows where. It feels like he's on a 6-hour excursion.
Yeah, if at this point
it did feel that way.
Yeah, if at this point you're calling to say you're probably going to be a half hour late, at that point just reschedule.
Yeah,
because if there's uncertainty with how long after this point it's going to take to get to a job interview,
yeah, you're done. You're done.
Can you imagine someone coming in a half hour late?
Be like, an
interview.
Actually, we hired someone who was a half hour late to an interview.
Well, I mean, if they've got a great story, I guess that's worth it. I guess this guy would have a great story. I was attacked by inbred hillbillies in the backwoods of West Virginia. And then he'd be like, okay, well, that makes sense. That checks out.
Tell us more. He's like, actually, it was a pretty bad movie.
So anyways, he goes and he's trying to find an alternate route, and as he's driving along, he looks at a dead deer on the road and then slams into the back of this Jeep where a bunch of other hotties and their boyfriends are. I don't know what they were doing. Why were they they had a flat tire because there was some barbed wire that was strewn across the road.
Yeah, military grade barbed wire.
Yeah, so that's it. That's the relationship between them, the protagonist and the rest of the people. There's a group of friends that he runs into, literally. And so the inbred hillbillies, I'm also wondering what's the nomenclature for hillbillies? Is that the correct term? I mean, backwoods, West Virginia,
redneck, white trash,
redneck, hillbillies. I'm gonna stick with hillbillies. I mean, they look like there's hills, right?
It was hillbilly country.
After watching Ozark, really, apparently there's a huge designation between rednecks and hillbillies.
Oh, really?
You do not want to mistake that.
Isn't Ozark the best? That's coming out. The third season is coming out at the end of this month.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Hey, we discussed this.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's just my stance. You can continue to do what you want, but I mean.
So the hillbillies kind of pick them off. That one couple that is exercising the probability theory, pretty quickly gets picked off by these hillbillies. A lot of jaw trauma in this movie. That's like the preferred method of these inbred freaks is to
freaks.
Normally, traditionally, if you're going to cut someone's head off or strangle someone with a wire, you choose the neck.
Yeah, right? It's the obvious go-to.
Close off the esophagus. I mean, it's got a nice little divot. It's a convenient marker for cutting a head off.
It's not edgy enough.
Yeah, so this one, they definitely go from the jaw and just kind of cut back. So
several of those.
Strangle someone with the jaw. And really, that wouldn't... So the girl, they take this barbed wire and just like put the wire around her jaw and like just pull back to give her like a Joker smile kind of thing. That would not kill a person.
Well, I mean, it's all the presumed rape that takes place between that then and getting back to the house.
There's not a lot of implied rape in this.
I mean, isn't the hillbilly part enough?
Well, they don't like other people, though.
Huh?
I mean, that's kind of by definition.
What?
Like, if they're inbred, they don't like to go from outside the family.
Oh, yeah, but there was no woman hillbilly.
Yeah, there's no woman left, so, yeah, how does that work out? Anyways, lots of very generic.
Why can't they be gay? How do gay hillbillies find each other? It's probably pretty easy. Like a howl or something?
This feels very problematic.
Oh.
I'm already in deep water with my misgendering of several people, so I'm not going to comment.
It would be best if you kept your mouth shut for a number of reasons.
Anyway, so they're stumbling along like they don't realize they're friends. The rest of the group don't realize that their friends have just been murdered, and they stumble into like a remote cabin. And they're like, oh yeah, maybe there's a phone in here. And they go in, and it's like straight out of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, it's just
a gross house, rotten food, like your generic
hands over here, dicks over there.
I like that he opens the fridge, and he's supposedly a medical student, and it looks like there's a bunch of organs and shit in jars, and it doesn't register at all. You'd think that someone that was studying to be a surgeon would look and be like, oh my God, that's a human intestine.
Well, maybe that's why he reacted the way he did. He's so desensitized to it that, he was able to, to come at it from a place of kind of neutrality.
Yeah, and then he opens this box with, that looks like nothing. It looks like skin or something. I couldn't even tell what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh shit.
It's weird that all the same parts that stuck with you stuck with me in the exact same order.
Yeah, and it's like, wait, why are you shocked? The entire fridge is full of bloody jars of...
There's a ball of eyeballs back there.
Yeah. It's like, but what's in this box? What could possibly be in this box?
Indiscriminate goop.
Oh my God. That's human goop. So, yeah, I mean, they're in here.
Oh, hey ho, I know this one. It's a squirrel.
Oh, hey ho, I call...
Oh, wait.
Oh, hey ho, I call it...
Human goop. So, yeah, then the hillbillies come rocketing around the bend in their hillbilly mobile, and then people are scared and they leave the cabin. And then there's lots of chasing, lots of cutting, and the people. Lady. The other thing was, as they're leaving, the guy grabs the spring on the door to keep it from making a sound, which
all the parts that stuck with
is kind of cool idea. I'm like, it's a cool idea. Like, I get it. Like, yeah, that's what you would do. And
what do hillbillies have? Squeaky spring screen doors. Yeah,
but then it shows him struggling, and I don't really understand what he's struggling with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it shows like the spring cutting into his hand,
blood gushing out,
and it's not like a sharpened spring. It literally looks like a trampoline spring, like it's a larger gauge, of a trampoline spring,
right?
So it would not cut your hand. I don't know. It's just like
it was the compression between the springs. So he grabbed it. He grabbed it when the springs were taut, when it was pulled taut, and the springs were wide apart. And as they let the door close, it was pressing his.
But wouldn't it make the sound as it was coming apart, not as it was compressing?
I'm just a happy camper, rocking and a rolling.
Thank God this movie was short. It was like an hour and a half, maybe.
Yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised when I paused it at 38 minutes and noticed I was halfway through.
Yeah, lots of like dumb horror movie slasher stuff, like people not looking where they're going and tumbling over a very loud item when they're trying to keep someone from waking up. Lots of like.
Why wouldn't you watch where your feet are?
Yeah,
just look at your feet.
Yeah, go slow.
Just go slow. Slow is slow and low. That's the tempo.
Lots of really predictable double fake outs. Like, oh, this is going to happen. Oh, I guess it didn't happen, but it happened this way. Like that happened several times. Notable. There's a Pontiac Aztec in the car graveyard.
Did note it. God, it's like we were the same person while watching this movie. I was like, carry a Pontiac Aztec and shit.
They're
Breaking Bad car.
Yeah. Those cars are now like in, I think they've gotten their second chance at life. I think the Pontiac should come out with the Aztek again. I think it's underappreciated because if you look at the features for an Aztek, it's like, that's actually kind of cool.
What are the features?
Well, it's got like a tent in the back. Like the back of it is very...
Oh, the tent that was featured in the movie is the actual tent from the Pontiac. There's a tent that comes out of the car?
Yeah, it's like a feature.
Damn, that's cool.
It's like made to camp with. It's got like camping gear type stuff in it.
That's badass. Yeah, that's way ahead of its time. And, now it's known as the Breaking Bad car. You can't go wrong with that shit.
Yeah. And then this bitch Carly. So she's the surviving, non-Eliza Dushku woman.
Yeah.
And
said.
I would want to slap that bitch so hard. Yeah. And this is not like misogynistic. Like anyone that would be in this situation with Carla would be like, bitch, fucking shut up.
Yeah. Can you give me some echo after I intro this? So Carrie, my wife, was like, look at this basic thought.
She really, that is completely accurate. She is a thought.
Yeah, Carrie was not pleased with...
Because, I guess I haven't mentioned why you would fall in hate with this girl. Because they're running away from psychotic hillbillies that literally, like, have axes and rusty machetes to kill them. She's like, I can't. Literally, that's like the dialogue is, I can't. It's I can't even. This is like way ahead of its time. This is the basic thought of I just can't even.
I mean, that would be such an easy decision for me to make if she was behaving that way in this situation. Be like, all right,
bye.
You're just
You're not terribly important to me. You're not terribly important to me.
You're just not terribly important to me.
So it's two couples. It's like the protagonist guy and Eliza Dushku, and then the other guy.
Yeah,
Scott.
Desmond
Tutu.
No, Harambe.
Okay. Anyways, he's like, just whatever. Who cares about these characters? But they're going down a hill, and he gets arrowed right in the back. He gets shot by the hillbillies when he's trying to distract them. That was the immediate sound effect that I thought of. Arrowed!
Ow, my skin!
Do you know what that's from?
Yeah, it's from Strong Bad. That's
Teen Girl Squad.
Yeah, Teen Girl
I think that was Teen Girl Squad 1. Arrowed.
Okay.
So that happens. Then they find this fire tower. Yeah. What do you call it? Is it a
fire tower? Yeah, watchtower.
And they go up into it, and like the things that you totally expect to happen will happen. They find a radio. They call out and see the hillbillies down at the bottom with torches, and they're like, "Uh-oh, gotta be quiet." And they're like, "Okay, well, what's gonna happen?" The radio chirps on at the wrong moment, and they turn back.
Oops.
Oh boy!
And then what happens? And
then the hillbillies climb up, and they like clamber.
They're already armed with torches.
Yeah.
Pre-armed.
We see the torches, and so they start climbing up this watchtower. And this is the other moment that like pulled me out of it. They're like clamoring to like, what can we put on this trap door that you have to climb into? They're like shoving over like heavy desks and stuff. I'm like,
sit your butt on it, dummy.
Just stand on it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how much leverage it would take to just move a full-grown man standing on a...
Well, I don't want him to touch my butt like through one of the knot holes or
something.
Not
even a butt. Just stand on it. Stand upright.
I mean,
on the trap door, and there's no way anyone could push it from below.
The thing about that is Yeah. Oh, wow. I got nothing. Yeah. No, you're right. You're just dead on right.
Lots of little dumb things, and then of course the hillbillies set fire to the watchtower, and then they decide that, well, instead of burning to death, let's jump out the window into these trees.
And then ensues a 10-minute long Ewok village fucking tree battle.
Yeah, I guess forests are just giant tree forts.
Yeah,
they're all connected by giant branches that just interweave with each other at every. I mean, you worked in the forestry service. That's how it is, right?
That's how it is. You don't. There were days where I didn't touch the ground. Just hopping from tree to tree. You know, that's an actual sport. That is an actual sport. Is
really?
Is moving. Is traversing the woods without touching the ground. The floor's lava.
Really?
Yes, it's a real sport, and people are good at it. People can go like hundreds of miles doing that kind of stuff.
Huh. Well, here I was making fun of it. I didn't think that would be realistic, but
it's not realistic in this sense at all.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're like walking on logs. Like, these branches are all like the size of a small tree trunk.
Right.
And like a small, like, mature Doug fir tree trunk. Anyway, so this was like a huge missed opportunity for me, because I was like, they jump out the window. The guy like kind of falls down a couple branches and then lands on this giant branch. And then the thing that I expected to happen and would have been satisfying if you saw it was Carla, that basic, the basic bitch thought. She goes to jump out the window reluctantly. And the best thing they could have done was just have her ricochet off a bunch of branches and then fall to her death to the ground, which would have been like the best.
That would have been great.
Like, oh yeah, this will work. And then nope, you can fall to your death.
Thump thump thump. Yeah, no.
It'd be a thought thump.
No, but she did get it in a pretty satisfying way towards the end of the tree battle.
Yeah, more jaw trauma. Her head got cut off at the jaw.
Yeah, she was like, and as her mouth opened to go, the guy, swung an axe and chopped the top part of her head off through her mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, what else we got? Apparently, Forester Giant Treehouses covered that. Also, the hillbillies don't talk through any of this movie. They're literal just monsters, making gushy sounds, making like inbred sounds.
Is it okay to say the word mongoloid? Is that troubling?
Well, now I just have to cancel you.
Well, it was a good run. I like this note you have here. You want to read that note? The caps.
Before we get to that, they don't kill. So they capture Eliza Dushku's character, and everyone else up to this point they kill immediately.
Immediately, regardless of attractiveness.
Yeah,
which there's plenty of.
And they take her back to the house because reasons. Like, you're not. I mean, I guess that's the closest they get to implying rape.
I mean, I guess I'm a pretty sick guy.
But really, they just have her tied down and they're threatening to kill her. So it's like.
Well, he caresses her face about the face.
It's very much plot armor. So, and then
touching her.
The hero comes, crashes through the side of the cabin with a big truck, and fights ensue, and then he sets fire to the cabin, and then this is the caps, all caps note: fire bad. Because literally it looks like a complete ripoff of Frankenstein when this one guy catches on fire. Fire bad! Fire bad! The other part that really took me out, so there's a part where there's like a cop that comes up to him.
What happened to the cop?
He gets arrowed.
That's very satisfying.
And he falls to the ground. And the protagonist, I can't be bothered to remember the names of the actors or these characters.
Yeah, okay.
The protagonist guy, he crawls underneath the SUV to hide from the hillbilly arrow guy, and he's within like a dick width of a gun. Like, he's sitting right there. He looks at the gun and he's like, it's not worth it.
Well,
he doesn't grab the gun.
It depends. What was the norm? Was it my dick width, or was it Dustin Goebel's dick width?
It's my dick width, so very close. Okay, so the hillbilly kills the guy, takes the keys from the ground, so the guy can't drive off with the car, but notably leaves after that. So
no, he takes that car. He takes
the car?
Yeah, he takes the police officer's car back to their compound.
Either way, the guy is left there with a dead cop's body with a gun holstered.
Our protagonist, instead of grabbing the gun before the hillbilly takes off in the cop's car, he grabs the undercarriage of the car the way Sideshow Bob did.
Oh, is that what happened? I thought he drove off and then came up later. Okay, so that makes a little more sense. But literally, like, just take the fucking gun.
Yeah, just take the gun. Yeah, it was a missed opportunity, but I think it was supposed to provide us with this feeling of like, why not? I don't know. I don't know how much of this movie was actually intentional.
And so the hillbillies are their place is set fire. There's a big, like, dumb 90s level explosion.
This is so nostalgic.
It's so cookie cutter. It's so turn of the century. Everyone that you assume is going to survive, mainly Eliza Dushku and protagonist man
Desmond something or other,
Desmond Tutu, they survive, and everyone else dies because that's how horror movies work.
That's how it works.
And they drive off. The end. Final recommendations. Who cares about this movie?
This is just this is nostalgia fodder.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely like nostalgia. If it's on Netflix or something, like don't pay to rent it.
No,
it's not worth that. It's not worth $3.
No,
but it is what it is.
I don't think we've ever ended a review with just
a
resigned. It is what it is.
Oh, hey ho! I call it squirrel.
All right, let's move on to taglines.
Here's taglines.
Taglines is a bit where we come up with alternate taglines for the movie we're reviewing that we think are more suited than the original tagline. Whatever. I'll go first.
Okay.
Wrong turn. Looks like their jaws took a wrong turn.
Wrong turn. From from Frosted Tips to Eliza Dushku, this is the most 2003 movie you will ever see.
Wrong turn. Looks like their jeans took a wrong turn.
Wait, what? Oh, they're jeans.
Yeah.
Genes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got it. Wrong turn. It's as if cable made a movie for itself.
Wow.
Like cable rose up.
I love that. I love that tagline. Wrong turn. Eliza Dushku gave me a dong turn.
Shut up. A dong turn.
My dong turned up.
Ping. Okay, wrong turn. Make one wrong turn, and you might have to watch this movie.
Wrong turn. Looks like these hillbillies had a long burn.
Okay. What the fuck?
Wrong turn.
Oh, man. So I can't... Before we go on to horror movie news with Ben Warrington, which, by the way, is one of the best horror movie news I've ever heard. Maybe the best ever. I would like to address the new sticker that I see.
Oh, yeah.
It's right there. It's Nick Cage with an alpaca saying... What does it say? Careful for the boob?
Here, I'll give it to you.
Oh, you don't have to...
Bryce, gonna give it to you.
Gonna get what? There. I got it. I got it. Tell us a little bit about it.
Oh, whenever Sticker Mule comes up with a deal, I'm a fiend for stickers. I'm actually there is a purpose. The horror movie, Portland Horror Movie Film Festival is coming up this summer, and I know from looking that you can just give them stuff to stuff their swag bag with, and they require at least 120 items, so kind of building up a war chest. But yeah, describe this sticker to people.
Okay, this is a pretty brilliant sticker, I gotta say. As I said, so if you head on over to our website, horrormovietalk.com, and then click on the episodes link in the link banner, you will see probably in the most, I think it was a January episode.
Within the last 8 weeks or something.
Yeah, scroll down a little bit to our Color Out of Space episode, and you will see the artwork that Dustin Goebel fucking killed on this movie, which is it's a picture of Nick Cage
with an arm around a alpaca,
hugging a mutant zombie alpaca that has drool coming out of its mouth. But what makes it truly unique is that the alpaca is saying, "Horror Movie Talk podcast is out of this world," and Nick Cage says, in a little speech bubble, "Gentle with the boob," which is something he said in Color Out of Space.
Yeah. Got to be gentle with the boobs.
Got to be But, and then to top it all off...
Which are words to live by the way.
To top it all off, yeah, for sure. To top it all off, this is a holographic...
sticker,
rainbow sticker, right? So we actually have a tremendous amount of stickers considering the uses we have for stickers.
Yeah.
We should probably find some way to get these to fans somehow, get in contests or something like that.
None of these stickers are for sale yet. These are collector's items, but our favorite people have gotten their hands on some of these stickers. So, if you're interested, maybe we can connect or whatever. But these are really, to graffiti around wherever we are.
Yeah.
Just put up stickers someplace. I mean, we give them to other people, and who knows what they do with them. But sometimes I see them cropping up in Portland in places. But yeah, this is a pretty good one. I really like the holographic stickers. I almost wish I would have done the skull too, but
it's pretty cool.
David was making fun of me for my sticker fiendness, and so
it's impressive. Bryce's commitment to stickers is it's much higher than most people's commitment to stickers.
It's just really cool.
It is cool.
It's fun. Anyway, so yeah, I want to not that I want to talk a lot about this, but so that sticker in particular, if you look at the artwork for Color Out of Space, you'll notice that Nick Cage's and the alpaca's heads get cut off. So it would have been great if they didn't, because it would have been perfect just alone for the sticker. But I had to figure out a solution.
It works well
on how to cover the tops of their heads so it's not a weird line on it. So I put a bubble over it, and then I had to fill in a little triangle on each, and you can't tell. I was very pleased that my Photoshop, my fake Photoshop skills were good enough that
I can't tell. I can't tell at all. I can't even
little centimeters worth of design. Anyways, we should definitely send one of these to Dustin, though.
I'm gonna put this on the back of my truck.
It's $5.
Okay. Worth it.
Anyways, so let's a lot of talk about stickers. Who cares about stickers? Let's get into horror movie talk. Or horror movie news.
This just in.
So we got a Ben Warrington on the phone, calling from jolly old England, and he is our resident horror movie news expert. So, Ben, what do you got for us?
I mean, I've never been called an expert in anything apart from sort of sexual disappointment, but yeah, I'll take that.
That is a really weird way to phrase it, too. I mean, if like your girlfriend just said, "You are an expert at sexual disappointment," that would really underline it.
That'd drive the point home too hard.
Yeah, well, I'm not driving the point home. That's the issue.
Not hard enough.
Not in her endo.
So, in the news this week, obviously, off the back end of The Invisible Man, Universal have began work on a series of horror movies that they're going to be showing in the considerable future. You know, it happened with The Mummy, which completely was a massive eye roll for everybody that watched it. But now that we know that the next one will be directed by James Wan, which is so exciting. They don't know what it's going to be yet, but Jason Blum has hinted that it will be Frankenstein. So we don't know what it is exactly, but James Wan is at the helm.
So I thought they had abandoned the Universal monster universe after The Mummy. But yeah, I've heard that like Jason Blum and even Lee Winnell, the director of The Invisible Man, were kind of making innuendo towards there might be something happening with a movie universe kind of thing still. So that'll be, I mean, if they trust Blumhouse to do it, maybe it'll happen because they have a certain level of quality.
Yeah.
Coming out. So yeah, that might be interesting. But I remember like they did, was it I, Frankenstein, or there was some Frankenstein movie that came out and it was going to loop into this Universal horror universe, and it just, after Tom Cruise's The Mummy kind of failed, there's like, all right, never mind, no one cares.
I think it's just the success of The Invisible Man is just proven that you don't need massive $50 million set pieces. You don't need massive A-list actors going in and turning this film into something it's not. It's more about the identity, which is what The Invisible Man had. You know, it was it $6 million US dollars that it took to make.
Yeah,
and they made $40 million in the first weekend. I think it was like
I think it's really important to focus on the concept. Have a strong concept, and don't go off the rails on this Van Helsing silliness bullshit where it's all modernized and
man. I was, as we were talking about this, I remember I just read an article yesterday of someone that got their hands on the original The Invisible Man script that was supposed to be in the Universal Monster universe that got abandoned. So the script, and they went like, they described what was in it, and it would have been awful. It would have been just terrible, because the script was written by the writer of Man of Steel.
Oof.
And I guess he's also a writer on some really good movies. So he did Batman Begins and I think maybe The Dark Knight. But he's on a bunch of superhero movies. And the treatment for The Invisible Man was going to be cookie cutter MCU level superhero movie.
Wow.
It was like daddy problems. There's like learning about his powers and like all this
like a Brightburn sort of thing.
Yeah, like voiceover stuff. It sounded like it would have been a hot dumpster fire. So I'm glad that Leigh Whannell got to do something original and put like a really unique twist on it.
Oh yes, definitely. Speaking of which, the second part of the news I've got is Sam Raimi has now been put at the helm to direct the second Doctor Strange film, which will be coming out in 2021. So that's interesting as well. Do you guys like Sam Raimi's work, or are you? Because I know there's a lot of top and bottom opinions on him.
Yeah, I mean Sam Raimi's great. I mean, he's a very competent director, definitely in the horror genre. He's got chops. I mean, I really loved his Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Like they don't.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
Like, I mean, they really are the ones that set off the possibility of superhero movies being really big again. And I love the parts in like Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock, where it really feels like a horror movie when he's in like the operation room. And I don't know if you can remember that scene, but there's
Drag
lots of...
Me to Hell is one of my favorite revisitings of what do you call it? What's practical effects.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm so glad you said that, John, because I've been thinking of that for I rewatched Drag Me to Hell so recently, and I thought it would age really badly and everything would look shoddy, but it made me want to throw up. Just like after the film,
Yes.
I wanted to go shower. I needed to go and take some fresh air outside and like sort of meditate and remember that buttons aren't going to pop out of my coat and go down my throat. And there's not. It was visceral and disturbing. It was fantastic. I loved it.
I remember we did a horror movie or porno game and definitely used a clip from Drag Me to Hell, the one where the old lady is gumming her face.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Raimi is he's cemented in horror movie classic history.
The only thing I'd worry about is like how much restraint Disney is putting on
MCU,
him.
yeah, exactly.
But I mean, you've seen what he can do with the Spider-Man movies, and you can expect little touches, and it feels like they're trying to make the next Doctor Strange a little more of a genre movie than just superhero. So they've been talking about that it's going to be scary for a long time. So it'll be interesting to see how it ends up.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited for it. So yeah, that's it's sometime in 2021. We don't know when that's being released yet, but one for the summer of this year. We've got the name of the new Train to Busan sequel, which is called Peninsula. That comes out in summer of 2020. Are you guys fans of Train to Busan? Have you seen it?
I've heard lots of good things. I haven't watched it yet, though.
Yeah, it's one that keeps coming up. I mean, it's one that everybody seems to talk about as being like a staple, great recent horror movie. But I haven't watched it. Have you seen it?
No,
I've seen it. I think it's potentially one of the top three zombie films. The zombie genre is so hit and miss. You can get some, Light of the Living Dead shit, which is, they're coming to get you, Barbara, and it stays with you for, and then you get some, like the Zack Snyder Dawn of the Dead remake, or the, these Diary of the Dead, or whatever it is, these sort of spin-offs, and you just sort of, it's sort of vomit inducing, and you want something fresh and new. And Train to Busan was this. It was this sort of enclosed environment. I do have to mention that it is Asian as well. It's South Korean, I believe. So if the subtitles is something that people have got to get a hold of.
Yeah, we're ugly Americans over here, so we don't watch foreign horror movies.
No, in the UK we're exactly the same as well. It's quite hilarious how a common joke that I say to people that aren't from England, to understand what England is like as a place, we tell each other off for not being cultured enough, but then when we go to somewhere like Spain on holiday, we'll point at a picture of egg and fries and go, "This, I want this." The whole point is, hang on a minute, you're so intolerable of everybody else's culture, but you can't even say any, wherever they want, an English person wants a Sunday roast, or they want all that. So yeah, it's fun. We've got a new bit of news about the New Mutants film as well. Very superhero based, the news feed today. But the New Mutants has been given a PG-13 rating and an official release date of 10th of April 2020.
I can't believe they're going PG-13.
So yeah, the year of 2020 is the dumping grounds for all the movies. the early part of 2020 is the dumping grounds for all these movies that have been put off for like over a year. The New Mutants wasn't it supposed to come out in like 2018?
Yeah, it's been hindered so many times. I just want to ask you guys this as well, because obviously we've got completely different classification systems. We have the BBFC, which is the British Board of Film Classifications, which gives it a certificate of 12, 15 or 18, whereas yours is, I think, it's PG-13 and then it's R-rated, isn't it? And the gap is so massive from PG-13 to R-rated. You have to be pretty gnarly to get an R rating now in America. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird because I think PG-13 is so desirable that they really want to get the biggest audience with PG-13, and it basically, I mean, at this point, it's almost unrecognizable sometimes where the line is, because there's some PG-13 movies that are really disturbing and deal with like some deep stuff, but they only get one fuck.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what like the major thing is. They don't show as much boobies, and they get one fuck. They might get like one tit.
Yeah,
like Titanic was PG-13, and you got to see some boobies there.
There's you don't get gratuitous violence in PG-13.
No, you do. I mean, you don't get gore, but you get lots of violence.
Right, violence. Yeah, that's the gratuitous part. Is like there's plenty of violence.
Yeah, I hear you, John. I know what you mean by gratuitous.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, 12, 15, 18 sounds like it would make more sense, but we're not into making sense in our ratings. Whenever I hear stories about the ratings board, it feels so anachronistic and like backwards. It's just like we just didn't get a real good feeling about it. There's not even like really secure metrics for what they're going off of.
Ours is very sort of militant. Everything is to the book. There's a massive board of people. Everything gets noted down. Every single piece of violence gets noted down, and it's put on their website for parents to read and so on. But I think the only rules in the UK are there can't be anything that depicts violence against animals. No, any harm against animals will be banned, and any sort of violence without reason, if that makes sense. So sort of we had some issues with Serbian film. We had some issues with Human Centipede 2. We couldn't see an unrated version of that in the UK because it just got completely obliterated by BBFC. So I feel like this conversation is going really boring. I'm sorry about that, guys.
No, it's interesting.
No, it's interesting to me. I got to tell you, I'm so fucking done with what the monstrosity that it sounds like they've turned the New Mutants into. Like it came
100%.
It came in with some it sounded like it had some promise, but now it's just ugh.
Yeah. And we've got the Hunt coming out this next week, and that was put off for a while. I don't know if you guys are getting that over there.
See, we don't like to take opinions on politics in the UK, so big lie. You might have heard of a thing called Brexit, and that's literally people have been tattooing that on their faces. I mean, the Hunt is in my list, actually. We'll go to that bit now. The Hunt is...
Sure.
I think there was a shooting, wasn't there, sadly, during the time of the release, and they thought that it would be a bad idea to sort of bring that film out. And that's unfortunate, but, I mean, I love the concept. I love the trailer. Have you guys seen the trailer?
Yeah, they came out with a new trailer recently, it's a little more on the nose than the original trailer was. I think the original trailer was better than what they're showing now. Yeah, it's kind of come real suddenly. Like, I've only heard about it in the last 2 weeks or so, and that was from a trailer in the theater. I don't know how much they're advertising it outside of the theaters, but yeah.
I like the satire. I like the idea. I like the concept. I think it's got quite a good cast as well. And I like the fact that it's this sort of poking fun at the left and right in extremes, and it's saying, none of you are perfect. You're all the same sort of monster, and I like it. I'm excited for it, but we'll have to see how it goes next week. I think yours is released next week, isn't it? And ours will be at the end of March. So. Yeah. Look out for the hunt. New trailer, Candyman, June 2020, produced by Jordan Peele. Have we seen the trailer?
Yeah, it looked real good.
Yeah, Keith, our resident blogger, is actually working on a blog comparing the original to the new one. He says he's going to be done this month. Or thereabouts, but he's got some artwork for it up on our subreddit. That's r/horror movie talk.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Huh. So and he's actually got some very impressive artistic chops. Keith does. So looking forward to that. But yeah, what do you got for Candyman?
I mean, I love the original. I think it's great. I think the Tony Todd, the hook and the bees and everything. I thought I didn't like the sequels very much, but the original was very good. This seems more like a sort of it reminds me of The Fly or something. That there's like a transformation going on with the main character, because you don't really see Tony Todd in the actual trailer, do you? So I'm excited. I'm down for it because it's Candyman and it's Jordan Peele. But I think they're going to be taking a new angle on it, and I'm unsure what I feel about it.
Yeah, it does feel like there's a new angle on. I think just like you said, I think it's basically The Fly. He's transforming into the Candyman. It looks really interesting and fun.
Yeah, so that's the release of June 2020. Bryce, have you got anything to add?
No, I think that I'm really looking forward to a couple releases this month and next month. So, Quiet Place 2 comes out in a couple weeks, and next month has Antebellum, and I think that looks really good.
Yeah, and when's the Green Knight coming out?
That's not going to be for a while.
Oh, is that a summer release?
Yeah, I think that's a summer release.
That's A24 again. So Saint Maud will be that will be released first, and then the Green Knight will be released after. I've not come across. I've seen a trailer for the Green Knight, but I have no idea what it is or what it's about. Or
I gotta go.
Is it a comic or?
It's a Arthurian tale. It's from, I think the origin is in Wales, like a Welsh Arthurian tale. It's just Sir Gawain goes against the Green Knight, and I think the main story, I mean, it's not really a spoiler since it's been around for thousands of years, but he gets challenged by this Green Knight and says like, you get one swing, and like I'll take whatever, I'll be defenseless, I won't attack, you get one swing, and then a year from now I get one swing. And so Gawain takes one swing and decapitates him completely. And then a year later, the Green Knight comes back, and so that's like, uh-oh. And in this one,
Gawain is played by Dev Patel, the star of Slumdog Millionaire and Lion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, he's an English proud actor. I've watched him through some of the old British TV shows that then went to America and got ripped off, as always.
Did you get to see Lion, Ben?
Yes, Lion was fantastic. Lion was really, really good, and he is such a good actor.
Were you bawling throughout the whole thing, or were you stoic?
I think if you have a human heart welded into your chest somewhere, then you have to cry at some point in that film. It's too
That one, like, me and my wife watched it, and both of us have siblings that are adopted, and there, it wasn't even like a scene, it wasn't like a moment, it was a whole
stretch,
15 to 20 minute stretch of just openly weeping.
Yeah,
just both of us.
I was exhausted after watching that movie for a couple days.
I'm with you, John. Yeah,
it was just like I could not handle how sad that made me for so long. Just because, I mean, that was a great movie. If you're going to see Lion, or I should say, if you want to see a sad movie, you should see Lion from 2016.
Yeah, uplifting too. I mean, it's not even.
Yeah, no, it ends well.
Yeah, there's positives in there as well, but it's not like. Do you know when you're crying in that film? It's not like a quick tear that you can wipe from under your eye. You know, like a Marley and Me, where you can just sort of. Are you crying? No, I'm not crying. What are you talking about? But
are you crying? You just can't even respond because you're weeping.
Gargling sandpaper for 10 minutes before. I feel so. Yeah, you just want to grab everything that you've got any sort of remote connection to and hold it dearly. Like, yeah, it's not nice.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But that's lying. So the other bit of news I've got for you is we've got a third collector film coming out this year as well. That's going to be called The Collected. Did you guys ever watch The Collector?
No, I don't think I did.
Is that like the thing that I'm thinking about was a long time ago? Is that The Bone Collector, or is that something else?
The Bone Collector was a film, Angelina Jolie and I think it's Morgan Freeman or Samuel Jackson. It's one of them.
It was. I think it was Ashley Judd and Morgan Freeman, and then. But I think The Bone Collector was a sequel to All the Pretty Girls or something like that. Okay, but so it's not that. That's not the Collector movie you're talking about.
No. Pretty much The Collector was a film from I think it was 2008. It was the back end of the torture porn craze.
Okay.
So let me just have a quick look now. So the first Collector came out in 2009, and it was directed by Marcus Dunstan, who you probably have heard of in terms of he wrote Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Feast was another one that he wrote in 2005. It was a good horror movie. So they came up with this. It was he's also wrote a lot of the Saw movies as well. I think he wrote 5, 6, 7, 3D, 4. Yeah, so he's a good writer. He came onto that. This was actually meant to be a prequel to Saw, but Lionsgate they said it wasn't good enough, and it would have been better to set up a new franchise rather than do that. This franchise didn't take off, but the film was good. The film was based around a guy called Arkin who is going into a house to steal some jewelry that he knows is worth a lot of money. However, he's not the first person to go into that house. The first person is the Collector, who has set up booby traps all over the house and is torturing the family. So,
can you say booby again?
This is a very booby-heavy episode, I've noticed. I think Bryce has said it a couple of times.
Yeah.
I think I giggled as well when he said booby.
I just like the way Ben says booby.
Booby.
We call them machines in the UK.
What? Machines?
Get your machines out. Yeah, that's it. No, I'm joking. It's
okay.
Wait, I don't understand the joke though. Wait, is that real? Do they really call them machines?
Oh my God! What is it with you Americans and literal comedy?
Okay. All right.
I'm joking. No, I'm joking. I'm
cool. I'm down. I'm with it. I'm hip.
Yeah. Honestly, the UK has a nickname for everything, and it will be the most. So, cigarette can be anything from tab to parsnip. You know, if you said to your friend, "Do you want to go outside for a parsnip?" they would know exactly what you were talking about.
Wow.
Yeah, boobs is huge. It's boobs, boobies, tits, titties, tig old biddies, machines. Oh, it goes.
Machines. I'm enamored. Machines. I can't even. All the other ones make sense to me. Just machines. I'm like, what?
Jugs, I think, is quite a British one, but we're gonna have to make a synonym list of UK words for tits. But yeah, so
yeah, that's your next assignment.
This episode is turning out great. I love this. Is the best horror movie news yet.
Yeah.
This has been. We've gone some dark and dangerous places, haven't we? But I appreciate that, John. You know, it's feedback is good. So,
you got anything else for us, Ben?
I've got one more thing for you, and this is just something that I want every horror movie fan to put on their radar. It's a film that's touring at the minute, and it's doing some festival releases over in the UK. It's called Butt Boy. That's Butt.
Okay.
And it is a film about a man.
I think I've seen this movie on Pornhub before, but go on.
It's a film about a man that enjoys putting things up his bottom.
And who doesn't, really?
Why do they keep getting to make... When are they going to start paying me royalties? You know?
I know it sounds like a hilarious concept, but from all the trailers, from all the correspondence I've seen coming out of these festivals, everyone is loving it, and apparently it's quite serious and it can be quite emotional.
I just like putting things in my butt.
But I think they're going on this trope of people doing extraordinary things. There's a film called Swallow as well, which is about a woman who was obsessed with swallowing things. No jokes there. But it's just this sort of new theme about people sort of self-mutilating and people finding it entertaining. But look out for Butt Boy. Have a look at the trailer. In terms of trailers for this newsfeed, definitely go and check out Candyman. Definitely go check out The Hunt. Definitely go check out Butt Boy. And just like I did for my last newsfeed, I'm going to make a Ben's recommendation for a film for everyone to watch.
Oh, right on.
So last time we did Feedback. I don't know if anyone watched it. It had Richard Brake in it. It was a sort of political satire-y, sort of slashery, rapey, weird horror movie, which I loved it. This week I'm going for a film called The Dare, which also has Richard Brake in it, who was in Feedback 31, 3 from Hell. He's like Rob Zombie's go-to guy.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So this film's called The Dare. It's a UK indie film. That's what I'm going to try and do on these recommendations, is give you a little bit of something that you probably won't have heard of. A guy is with his family, has a lovely night. He gets drugged and wakes up in a barn with 4 other people chained up. And there is this seriously jacked serial killer in this. It's like this guy has been going to the gym big time, but there's a big story unraveling, and there's some really good practical effects, some real visceral and nasty gore, some good laughs, and some good mystery and tension. And honestly, this is probably one of the best films I've seen so far of the year. Up there with Invisible Man. Completely different, but up there. So if you get a chance, it's on Amazon Prime, I think. Go and check it out. I'll put it on my sheet that will go onto the website, so you guys can check it out. But that's my recommendation, and that's it for the newsfeed, guys.
Okay, thanks so much, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Bryce. Cheers, John. See you later.
So that was horror movie news. Thanks to Ben. David,
I don't want to talk about it. Are we gonna? No. That's okay.
I mean, I'm the one that mostly talks to him on Twitter, so I mean, it's
but I'd just like to say
I would assume
all
that
of
he
our
was listening
fans,
to a couple episodes.
I'd just like to say thank you to all of our fans for listening to Horror Movie Talk. I appreciate you. I'm sure Bryce appreciates you. You guys make sure to head on over to our website, horrormovietalk.com. Make sure to rate us, review us on iTunes. And if you want to support the pod, do consider becoming a patron or clicking through that Amazon link at horrormovietalk.com.
Any other thing? I think you covered all of it.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Shudder, use HMT at checkout. Did you say that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, if you're on the fence about Shudder, might as well just use it for a month to see if you like it. we haven't reviewed a ton of movies from Shudder, but we have some in the wings. We have Henry in the wings. Henry is probably
and
worth
Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah. Man, we do have a lot.
Yeah, we do.
And it has all the Halloweens right now,
yeah.
I think.
It has the original Halloween for sure. It has The Changeling. It has Night of the Living Dead. It has, it has a bunch.
So check that out. We appreciate you. I know for a fact that there's probably like 2% or less listeners that are listening to us right now. So if you're among them, that means you're a super fan. And if you're an Apple product holder, please leave us a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts if you haven't already. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, hey ho, I call it, squirrel.